share my screen now. Oops. Screen 2, and I'll start the presentation. Josie, is this being recorded now?
Yes, it is.
Great, thank you. And let me start the presentation. All right. Can you all see my slide? Okay, great. I need to move this here, down here. Sorry, I'm having a hard time with Zoom a little bit. Sorry. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Today we have 3 wonderful career navigators and transition counselor specialists from up and down California to join us as a panelist. I would like to introduce our panel members. We will hear from Alex Hacko, a transition counselor for the Inland Adult Education Consortium at Crafton Hills College, and Carmen Becerra, an adult education navigator for the Sequoias Adult Education Consortium at Visalia Unified School District, and Peter Tinklenberg, a transition specialist for the East Side Adult Education and South Bay Consortium for Adult Education. Thank you so much again for joining us, and thank you panel members for being part of this very high demand webinar. Again, welcome everyone. Okay, so before we get into our content, we would like to know you, the participants, a little bit. So please tell us, type in the chat to respond to the 2 questions here. What agencies do you work for, and what's your role? And what attracted you to this webinar? What do you hope to gain today? We'll get started in a couple minutes, but throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And at the end, we will try to answer as many questions as time allows. Right. Thank you. The chats are coming in. We would like to know a little bit about you, what your role is at your agency, and what you hope to gain from this webinar today. I see lots of fellow specialists and counselors, transition specialists. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Keep the introduction coming in the chat. We'll get moving, but please keep typing in the chat your introduction and what you hope to gain today. Right. All right, so I will get us started by sharing some of the evidence base on career navigators in adult education. Let's start by quickly reviewing what the research says about career navigators in adult ed. So research indicates that effective use of career navigation support is one of the 4 promising practices to connect unemployed and displaced workers for STEM or advanced manufacturing and healthcare related careers. Career navigators are important. Also, career navigators can play a critical role in helping adult learners persist in education programs and improve their career prospects. We are all here to support our students, and career navigators can play a critical role. And the use of technology and the internet for job search and career decision-making process is becoming the norm now. We all went through, the COVID pandemic, and technology can be used as an alternative counseling modality today. And many of you probably provide Zoom sessions. And as well, technology is used for career assessments, information gathering, planning, and decision-making, among others. And there are online support groups students can join, and social media and mobile applications can also be used for career information gathering, and also for getting connected with potential mentors or coaches and even employers. And also, here are some of the best practices found in literature. providing vocational orientation, aptitude tests, and local occupational outlook information. This is when counselors' understanding of the labor market or industry needs and local career pathways can help learners make informed decisions on a career path that fits their skills and interests. Then counselors can help learners understand the value of training, credentials, or degrees for their career goals, right? And another best practice is offering goal setting strategies and focusing on both short-term and long-term goals. And you can assist learners in setting educational and career goals that will lead to family-sustaining jobs, and provide information on alternative credentialing, such as stackable credits when appropriate. And let's keep going down the list. And assisting students in developing executive functioning skills, such as planning, prioritization, time management, organization, and persistence to meet their goals. Counselors and specialists can track learner progress and support goal achievement along the way. And also, finally, well, there are a few more, sorry. Tailored approaches can be necessary to support the diverse group of adult learners. Depending on past experience, some learners have more work and education experience than others, for example. And also based on different student groups, help-seeking behaviors, and other barriers, you may need to adjust your outreach efforts. Okay, there are a couple more. Practice active listening techniques and explain counseling procedures. Some students may not be familiar with the processes, and explicitly telling students what they can expect from those sessions can be helpful. And finally, help identify barriers students face, connect with a network of wraparound services, and refer students to other specialists as needed. So these are some of the things that are found in research, but today we'll hear from how these three panelists today are implementing some of these best practices in their own practice. So without further ado, let's get into our panel discussion. So the first question or first topic is introduction. Tell us about your professional background and your role related to career counseling at your agency. Alex, you're up first.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to be here and sharing this information with all of you. I'm not going to bug you reading every single line on my slide because it's a lot, but I just wanted to highlight 3 different areas on my background. I think it's crucial for the students to know who we are so that this opens the door to build a better rapport. We can put ourselves in their shoes and know their struggles and their needs, and they can feel more comfortable sharing what they need with us. Regarding academics, I don't like to brag, but I'm pretty proud. I know that I have way more to go, but I also like to share with my students, specifically my change between my bachelor's and my master's. Life is different for everyone, and some of the students might start in one path and they ended up in another path. It's okay for them to know they have the option of exploration. I went for chemistry to counseling. It's a whole new world, but it's doable. So hopefully by sharing this, my students get a wider perspective. Maybe their family pushed them to study medicine when they really want to study arts. So I think this is a nice way to build that relationship. My background working with adult learners started back in 2018. I was hired by my consortium as a transition advisor. My role was a classified employee. Again, I'm housed at Grafton Hills College. I started working with Redlands and Yucaipa Adult School, helping students transition. Once I got my master's degree, I was able to get a position as an English learner counselor for Colton Joint Unified School District. Funny enough, that district is part of our consortia, so I was still kind of helping adult school students, especially those adult learners in the ESL program. Now, I'm back at Grafton Hills College with a new role as a transition counselor, where I still help students transition to the college or any CTE program, but now I'm able to help them with educational plan and guidance on how to reach their goals.
Thank you, Alex. So everyone, my name's Karen Becerra. Again, same as Alex, thank you all for being here. And we're really excited to share about the work that we do. So I currently work as an adult education navigator for the Sequoia's Adult Education Consortium, which is a really long name. This is my professional experience. So I've worked in the classroom, I've worked in student services, I've worked pretty much all over education. I want to say for the majority of my working life. I have a bachelor's degree, but I don't have a master's. So in my current role as an adult education navigator, it's really a lot of versatility in the work that we do, whether it's direct student services, helping them apply for a job, helping them create a resume. We do a lot of job readiness workshops in our career technical education programs. We have a lot of online platforms that we use, and we're going to go ahead and share them with you a little bit later. We do a lot of program awareness within the schools and also outside in the community. So we do go out and do outreach, whether it's we go to health fairs, resource fairs, job fairs, the swap meets, any events like back to school nights. We'll go and share all of the information about our programs, whether it's CTE or ABE or ESL or citizenship. We really try to meet our students where they're at. And see, okay, what can we do to support you to achieve your goals? And then one thing I really think is really important to note, you have to be very experienced in customer service because that is what we do, and I want to share that. But pretty much that's my background, and I'll share a little bit more about my role as we move on the slides. But it's nice to meet everyone.
Thank you, Carmen. Peter.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for coming. I see one of my colleagues here is Patty. Welcome, Patty. Well, I've been in this education business for a long time, so but none of it has to do with counseling, other than I did go to graduate school to study clinical psychology, where I learned how to, engage the clients in conversations, the active listening part, Carl Rogers stuff, right? That helped me a lot in the clients that I serve. Clients that I serve are ESL students who, when they are on the verge of exiting a program, are deciding what pathway to follow. So it is important that I listen to where they want to go, identify some obstacles that might prevent them from going where they want to go, and then assist them in finding the resources and the opportunities where they need to go. So my professional background is that I am currently a transition specialist, and I'm lucky because my adult school has 2 transition specialists. I work specifically with adult ESL second language learners, whereas my colleague, she is more like a transition counselor, and she does more of the career stuff. But as for me, my job is to make sure that the students have an opportunity to transition from the adult ESL program into all these other opportunities, including high school diploma program, non-credit classes at the community college, CTE programs, or a pathway to the 4-year university. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Peter. Thank you all. So topic 2 is what is unique or effective about your school or consortium's approach to career counseling? And tell us a little bit about the process of requesting support and finding the right career at your school. Alex, you're up first.
Perfect. So this topic is huge. We're gonna try to summarize it, but give you the tease on what you can expect. I want to give you an overview of how my consortia in an adult education works. We have 2 community colleges, Grafton Hills College and San Bernardino Valley College. We have 5 K-12 districts and the County Office of Education. We work together We have regular meetings with the leadership boards. What's special about our consortium is that we have 4 full-time counselors specializing the smooth transition from adult school into college or CTE programs. I started as a transition advisor, but the needs of the program and the capabilities that a counselor has allow to upgrade the position to a counselor, because it was extremely hard to meet with the students, build a report, and then sending them over to talk to another person, right? As a counselor, I can meet with them from day one up to graduation if they wish to do so. We also have a specialist working in our office who's a former adult education student. So a great role model for future students to see themselves in the future. The goal with how we work is so that each of the adult schools in the district, they have at least one designated day for the transition counselor to be on their campus. Crafton Hills College oversees Redlands and Yucaipa Adult School. So I'm fortunate to be twice a week at each of the schools. We do in-person appointments, one-on-one group settings, but we have also virtual options. If the students are not able to meet us at the adult school and they prefer to meet us at the college, we are allowed to do that. We make sure that they don't have to worry about parking permits or anything else. Some of the services that we offer, general information about the college and CTE programs, enrollment steps, one-on-one guidance, educational plans, referrals to the community. If we don't have the program on house, we have great partnership with the local organizations to provide that support. And also personal and professional guidance. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Carmen, tell us a little bit about Sequoia's Adult Education Consortium.
So here's a little bit of information about some of the unique approaches we use. I did share a little bit earlier about the community outreach events that we do. I'm going out to these different fairs to meet with the students. We also go out to high school, maybe events, and also share our CTEs there so that students know they have those options available after high school. We really try to focus on wraparound services on campus. So we have public speakers come onto campus with new resources or different information. We'll have immigration workshops on our campuses. We have job fairs and resource fairs on site so that our students have access to all of that information. We do have a Padlet. So it's like an online corkboard that they're going to share with us shortly, where we kind of put all of the information that our students have at one time or another have needed help with. So they're able to access all of those different links and websites. So here you'll see that we have all of our flyers for each of our programs, for each of our adult schools. But then if we continue on, there'll be different titles for the different resources that we're sharing, whether it's information for the unhoused, whether it's apprenticeship programs, whether it's clothing resources, whatever it is that our students have come in and asked us for assistance, we try to keep all of that on that Padlet, which is accessible. So one thing we do have that I also think is very unique, we have a trifold that we share with everyone. And on this trifold is all of our information. Oh, you can't see it, but maybe I can get that sent to you guys later. We're able to have all of the links that we utilize and all of the websites on there. And we also do a lot of job readiness presentations in the classroom, which I find very unique. Not everyone is able to do that. So we prepare our students with resumes. We prepare them for the interviews with questions. We have mock interviews with employers that come out with our students and talk to them. We have a really good relationship with all of the resource centers and the one-stops in our area. And then something very unique to us is our one-stop. They're called Employment Connection. They do have an online referral form that you can access through their website. And on there, you'll put in your students' information, what is the resource that they need, and they're able to get an email sent out to that specific person, and then they'll reach out to our student and follow up with us. So it's very useful, and we're able to connect people. I just want to highlight how important the relationships are and how we need to stay connected. Same with our students, but also with our partner agencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. We have a question about the events. How often do you host events? What time frame or day of the week do you typically see the highest participation?
For the events, we tend to have them during the week, twice a year. is when we have those job fairs or resource fairs. At Visalia Adult School, we have something called the Adult Ed Celebration Day. And we have our students kind of get awards for the end of the year of the work that they've done. Student spotlights happen also, and then there is like an hour and a half dedicated for students to come out to all of these booths, which will be employers for our different students, different types of jobs, whether in welding or nursing or entry-level positions. And then we'll have all of the resources that we work with, which is one of them, they're called Civic. They're the Central Valley Immigration Integration Collaborative, but we'll also have the district come out. We'll have the One Stop. So a lot of, I want to say last year we had about 45 tables of resources for our students, and they're all invited day and evening, but it is a day event. But we do have speakers come out to our evening courses as well. And then our other bigger campuses were the ones that usually host those events. But that's kind of how we get that going.
Thank you. And I believe this is also for Carmen, but please, other panelists, feel free to, chime in. We have a couple questions about student career plans. They want to know a little bit more about that, and if you are willing to share that with the participants.
So on our campus at on our campus at Visalia Adult School, our student career plans, every student that comes in and tests CASAs and then has to meet with the counselor to be put in a class, we create a student career plan, and students are able to see, okay, this is my goal, what do I need to do to get there? And we all know that to get to your goal, there isn't just one way. There are many ways to get to a different goal. So what the counselor will do, they'll walk them through what are the steps to reach those goals. And then if they need anything with job readiness or applications or college applications, she will refer them to me, and then I'll reach out to the student and meet with them and help them get to their career plan. But it's an online format, and then we upload it also to their ASAP account.
Thank you. We have a few more questions, but we will move on to the next topic, and perhaps we can revisit more questions at the end if we have time. Otherwise, we'll share the panelists' contact information at the end, so you will have, we will follow up with you. Okay, and Peter.
Yes, so our consortium is located in San Jose. And what is unique about our consortium is that we kind of like function as one unit under these principles that you see on the right of your screen. We promote the universal pathway model where a student can determine what they want to pursue, and then if a site doesn't have that program, then they can be supported by going to another program. So we act kind of like an organic unit. We need to go back to the other slide.
Oh, the slides. Okay.
So our principles are the universal pathway model, student journey map, no wrong door. That's a really nice concept, and it goes hand in hand with a open door policy that we have. Multiple points of entry and exit. It's student once they get evaluated, we will determine with them what the next step is in their goals. But my job mainly is to provide services and assistance to immigrant students who, when they're exiting our program, are they ready for an ABE program? Are they ready for the high school diploma? Can they take advantage of non-credit classes? Can they dual enroll? So those are the questions that I pose with them, and determine how qualified they are to go into a program that they really want to pursue. If they can't go that way yet, then we provide support so they can go that way. I want the audience to know about a couple of links. The first one is the South Bay Consortium for Adult Education. This is our homepage for the consortium. So if you can click on that. So if you scroll to the top, this is where this consortium spills out all of its guts, right? This is where you find out what we're about. And if you can scroll down, well, it'll talk about those different principles that I identified on the slide. But if you scroll to the top, the student portal. This is created specifically to help our students self-determine a pathway for themselves. And then if they identify a program that they like or a pathway that they like, they can connect with a consortium secretary who will then notify the appropriate transition specialist to help provide services for that student. I should point out that in our consortium, we have 9 schools, 5 adult schools, and 4 community colleges. And each school has at least 1 transition specialist, although the school that I serve has 2. Yeah, that's it. If you go back to the slide, you can click on the second link, the Transition Specialist Hub. This is cool. This is to provide the transition specialists with all the support that they need in order to do their job better, right? And here's where we could find resources that we might refer a student to. I think on our webpage, there is also a place where students can search resources in the community as well. But this site here is mainly to support the transition specialist in providing the services that the students seek or may need for their advancement in our program.
Thank you, Peter. Let me get back to the presentation. All right, the next topic is impacts. What are some of the positive impacts of career counseling on your students? Please share some success stories if you can.
Great. So we have a lot of students that we would love to highlight, but I selected 3 of them that I personally work. I see our positions as the builders of hope, because many times students don't even think that there's an option after adult education, right? So I wanted to highlight these students. The links are posted on the chat, so I welcome you to click on them and read about their stories because they are pretty unique. But I'm pretty sure at each of your sites, you have these students with you. I'm gonna start with Maria Valencia. She graduated from Yucaipa Adult School and she joined Crafton as part of the summer program. She just wanted to get a certificate in Spanish, but while we were having conversations, she stated that being here in college was a motivation for her son on continued education. She was able to graduate from Crafton, not just with an associate, but also transferred to Cal State University San Bernardino. We also have Norma Viveros from Redlands Adult School, who used to work as a campus monitor at one of the local schools, and she always wanted to have that interaction in the classroom. She started the Summer Bridge program, and she was able to complete her associate's degree, and now she's working towards her teaching credentials at Cal State San Bernardino as well. Sean Ceballos is one of my students that I met during COVID, and we're gonna talk about what COVID did in future slides. But Sean attended to the online workshops, enrollment sessions, financial aid sessions, and he was really excited about the opportunity to go back and finish his education. He graduated from Yucaipa Adult School. He was able to transfer to Crafton Hills College, where he became really active. He became class president for student life. He participated in a lot of clubs and outreach events. He was a student worker. We were able to serve in same committees. Like I was a representative from the classified staff. He was a representative from the student governance. So it was beautiful to see the leadership skills that he gained. He was able to graduate, and now he's at UC Berkeley working on his English degree and political science. I hope that you can see that no matter the situation, the obstacles that the students have, you have to motivate them because they can accomplish greater things. That's it for me.
Thank you, Alex. Carmen, share with us a little bit about your student success story.
Yes. So I'm sharing one student just so you guys kind of get the flow of how it is that we do these wraparound services for our students. This example, her name is Rosalia Rodriguez. She came into our adult school taking our Spanish GED classes because she wanted to get a better job. And she was also taking English classes. So when she completed her Spanish GED, I did meet her while she was a student here, but she didn't need any services at the time. So she graduated and then she left and started looking for employment, but she wasn't having a great time with employment or finding employment within the school districts, which is what she really wanted to. I met her at one of the events that they have for, what is it? Like a job fair for the school district, and she was there and we were able to reconnect. She let me know, I've been applying, I've had a hard time. So I told her, you know what, come and meet with me at the school and I'll help you apply for some more jobs and see maybe if you're missing anything. She went ahead and got an interview, but that first interview wasn't successful. So she came back and asked, hey, can you help me prepare for an interview? We did some work together, how to answer the questions, kind of like what are employers looking for you to answer. And she got hired with the part-time position for nutritional services within our school district. We kept following up and seeing how she's doing. And then it turned out that a full-time position opened up, and now she's a full-time employee at the school district that we currently work for. And on the next slide, it's going to be a quote from Rosalia. She really enjoys working with us at the adult school. Any of her friends, even if they're not students, she'll let them know, sign up to go to the adult school, work with Carmen. She'll help you with finding a job. And that's not just Rosalia. This is a story from all of our adult schools with all of our navigators. So there's 3 of us, and we're here to serve our students and again, meet them where they're at and see how can we have them achieve those goals that they really want to, whether it's employment, whether it's transitioning over to the college, whether it's maybe getting their transcripts translated or interpreted to English and see where they can go from there. So we love to help our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. It's always great to hear, your impact. Peter, tell us about your student.
So the students that I work with are immigrant students, adult students who are in our classrooms, many of them probably overcoming a lot of obstacles in order to be here. Some of them are able to get their work permit, and others are not able to get the work permit. But in both cases, you want to do what you can in order to help them become successful. Many times their failures are because maybe they don't understand all the opportunities that are out there, all the services that can support them. I have, students coming in desperately seeking shelter. They've been evicted, others with no medical insurance. So these are all obstacles that prevent them from moving on in the adult education program. Those are the factors that prevent persistence, right, in the program. But I'm really proud of Sadia. She's an example of not only a student who is successful, but also persistence on my part too, because in order for us to help our students become successful, we have to persist as well. By using all of our counseling, therapeutic strategies, and knowledge of the community resources, combine them to provide the exact services that they need. Now, Sadia is currently about 19 years old. I'm not sure really how old she is, but that's just, not only the way she is, but, a lot of students are reticent, right, because they're immigrants. But notice her dress. She's standing in a shopping mall, right, in front of a fashion store. And her quote, not only in this picture, I'm a beautiful girl in all of my pictures. That tells you about, her character. And that inspires me to, really help her become successful because she already has an idea of where she wants to go. So Sadia 2 years ago was a refugee from Afghanistan. She learned her English in an unauthorized school in Afghanistan under the Taliban. But when it got too dangerous, the family, Sadia and her two sisters, left for Pakistan. And then they had to move to Qatar so they can get their papers. Arrived in San Jose, September of 22, and then started adult school. This tells you her motivation. And her motivation is to become a successful person in this country. She's not really sure yet, but she likes retail. But the thing is that she didn't come to me for help seeking housing or food or counseling. No, she wanted to know how to bring her fiance to this country. So I didn't know anything about how to do that. So I had to explore opportunities and ways to help her. I connected with the Afghan community. They had a lawyer, and now she's working with the lawyer to bring her fiance here. Now, in order for her to get the fiance visa, she had to marry him. So they met in Iran last summer, got married, and now he has the documentation. She has the documentation. But that's an example of the persistence on the part of the student that we as transition specialists and counselors should identify so that we can use that as a way to help them continue to grow and prosper in our country.
Thank you, Peter. This kind of shows, your jobs encompass a lot of different areas, not just career navigation. Thank you. Okay, so in research, we saw that, technology is part of career counseling these days. So we would like to know how you are leveraging technology to support your students and what are some of the benefits and challenges when implementing technology-assisted counseling. Alex.
Great. So I think all of us can agree that COVID changed our lives. Based on that, we were forced to move into a virtual environment. Okay? This made us even more aware of the diverse range of digital literacy that our students have. In an effort to accommodate that need, the community colleges created credit and non-credit computer classes just to give students that basic knowledge. We have a wide range of students coming from different countries who might have never used a computer. We have well-educated students as well that are experts in computer information systems. So it's a way to find a balance. The credit and non-credit courses were also a tool that we use to promote the transition, because once they start taking a non-credit class at the community college, they see themselves projected into the future, right? So that can be the hook to help them transition. We offer one-on-one tutorials on college interfaces. I'm really happy that I got to know the software program Calendly to help us with scheduling appointments. Students love it too because they can use their phone and just scan a QR code. They get reminders via text messages. When I started this position, I had a lot of frustration because the college communicates with the students via email, but many of our students don't know how to access their email. So seeing that transition to using text messages and calls is a blessing for our students. Again, the exposure to those virtual services, Zoom meetings, we were online, so the students were forced to use Zoom. Virtual information sessions, they were popular in the sense that a lot of people RSVP, but last moment, some of them have issues logging in. It was a learning experience for everyone, how to make it more accessible for them. how to use emails, email etiquette, right? It's not the same texting to your friend than emailing your teacher or your instructor. We hosted our biggest summer bridge program a year before pandemic. We were extremely concerned how to translate those services into an online service. As a transition specialist, my role, we designed a boot camp of computer literacy for students transitioning to college, where I wasn't an instructor, I was more like a facilitator on going step by step how to unmute on Zoom, how to send information, how to upload a file. Thanks to all of those experiences, students were aware that they can take online classes, they can take hybrid classes, so that they can work around their schedule. If they have family members to take care of, if they work full-time, it was more like an opportunity to explore options.
Thank you, Alex, for sharing useful tools and methods. Carmen, tell us about your practice.
So in our consortium, we've really integrated technology very well, I believe. Also due to COVID, we had to speed up that process. All of our adult schools actually use online platforms for our high school diploma, GED, and English classes. So the students are becoming more technological savvy in regards to using the programs on their phones, on tablets, and on computers. All of our placement testing at our adult schools is also done online. So there's no more paper grading or, taking that time. It's additional time taken away from working with the students. The student career plans, like I said, they're digitized and they're uploaded onto ASAP. So we really enjoy that. The Padlet, our trifold that has all of the links to the websites. There's also QR codes. So if they just want to scan the code, they can access it through that option. We do have a career exploration online platform on our website. That's sequoiasadulted.com. And then for our interview prep and our resume building, we do utilize Career Coach for their resume building because it does autofill or it does auto create the job descriptions for jobs that people have. And then interview prep, it's called Big Interview. And that website takes questions from all over the United States employers' questions, and students are able to record themselves answering the questions, and they're also able to get tips on what's the best way and what is this question really asking. So we really like to utilize those platforms. And then the contract with their students, we're able to connect with them in person, via phone calls, via text messages. During COVID, we did have a lot of Zoom appointments. And then we also work with them occasionally through social media. So sometimes people aren't students, but they're potential students. And we like to work with everyone. And that's how we use technology. It's the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. We have a question about the interview platform. Is it big? What's the name of the interview platform that you mentioned?
It's called Big Interview. I'll go ahead and link it in the chat.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you.
And thank you, Alex, for responding to another message about texting. This is for all of you. What program do you use to mass text your students? If you could put that in the chat, that would be great. But Peter, tell us about your consortium's practice.
Well, I can tell you about our adult school. We learned that, especially with COVID, that many of our students, if not all, were very behind in their computer literacy and just using electronic devices. So we made it a point to, first of all, to re-educate our teachers to become familiar with the technology that they could now use to help their students. They're now using a program called Canvas, which is a program that everything is in digital format now, where teachers can post their lesson plans, they can post their videos for additional training or lessons. The students can communicate through, Canvas. They can upload their work for teachers to evaluate. So we use text. Well, I don't know about the teachers, I use text messaging and email because these are good tools to reinforce the English that they're learning in the classrooms, okay? And also more formalized English. I did have an occasion to work with a student from China a couple of weeks ago. We had to communicate through a voice translation device, and a 5-minute conversation took an hour, okay? But we went from going to questions about how to get into education to finally, what he really wanted to do was to make music videos and upload it to YouTube. That's what his goal. So it's okay, well, he texted me today saying, I'm going to Los Angeles. I said, yeah, that's a good place to learn that stuff, right? But you know, if the electronics doesn't work, doesn't help with the communication, you can always go back to the stylus and the tablet, right? That's on your screen. But we use this program called MyPro, where we upload all of the information that we gather for our interviews and conversations with students. We document that, and when they're ready to move on to another program, maybe because we don't have the program that they're looking for, or they're ready to transition to community college, all this stuff that's uploaded in MyPro is accessible to all of the transition specialists, so they know right away who they're dealing with, and then they will make the contact to that student. Another one is the student navigator called Open Doors. We briefly touched on that earlier, but this is a means of the students to explore what programs are out there for them to pursue, and what support services are out there that they will need in order to successfully pursue what their goals are. So that's Open Doors. I think this is a wonderful tool for our students. They gather a lot of information from there, and then questions that arise, that they could either communicate with their teacher, then who will pass it on to me, or they could ask the consortium, and they will pass it on to the appropriate translation specialist. Then they'll contact the student and then develop a conversation.
Thank you, Peter. And thank you all for typing in the mass texting programs that you use. In the chat, there are a lot of ideas. Hope that's helpful. And Matt had another question about career assessment tools. Do you have any recommendations? If you could put in the chat any recommendations, that would be great. And we are going to move on to the next topic, which is about, let's see, the challenges. And what are the challenges you face, and how do you think you can overcome them? Alex, go ahead.
As everything in life, a challenge can be seen as an opportunity, right? But something that we struggle is the idea of one shoe fits all, when it's not the case. Again, it all depends on how you build a rapport with each of the students and understand their needs, right? If they are in ESL because they came from another country and they are learning the language, after they finish the advanced level, what's next? If they already have their education in their country, why should they take the high school diploma, right? Maybe they can get into the CTE or college. Know exactly what their needs are and not force them into a specific pathway. Understand their academic language. Sometimes we assume that because they don't speak the language, they don't have the education, when we have students with PhDs and master's degrees in beginner ESL just because of the language need. Work with partners and support programs to better fit the student. As Peter was saying, a lot of the students, they have their transcript, but they just need to be evaluated or translated, right? So have those resources available for the students. They don't have to start from zero if they already have more than half of their higher degree completed. College and academic expectation, especially working with non-credit and dual enrollment students, it's important for us to let them know about the expectation of a college level class, what the difference are between an adult school and the college. as well as what services are available for them. Free tutoring, free access to the clinic where they can have a basic physical exam. This is great for students who might not have access to medical care, right? Get to know about their struggles. A lot of them, this is a popular quote that I'm willing to bet that all of us have heard before. I'm too old for school. Instead of focusing on the age, let's redirect the conversation into their resiliency. Yes, they might be older than a traditional student, but they have overcome a lot of more difficulties than a regular student. So that can be seen as a extra strategy to do better in school. Undocumented resources. It's not a taboo to talk about undocumented students, to make those connections, to hand out posters about information on undocumented students, AB 540, SB 768, how we can help our students to be charged as residents or take classes at a lower cost, take advantage of dual enrollment, non-credit classes. And this is especially a great opportunity where we can have uniformity across the consortium, right? We have 5 adult schools. They have their own procedures, their own orientations. But as long as the communication is open and we understand what they need from us and how we can better serve them, we can make great things. As an example, one of the adult schools in our consortium, they host a bi-yearly career fair. The colleges are invited to share their resources, but also students from the area, not necessarily from that particular adult school, are welcome to receive those resources, right? So share our resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Okay. Carmen, would you share about your challenges and how you're going to overcome them?
Yes, so we do have a few challenges here and there, no one's perfect. But some of the things that we can struggle with occasionally is trying to reach our students that maybe have clinicals. So that just takes a lot more coordination when we're trying to work with our medical programs, because they're usually the ones that go off site. Having appointments and then people not showing up for those appointments, that tends to happen. So we really try to remind them beforehand, like, hey, we have an appointment tomorrow. But things happen. They're adults. A lot of them, they have other issues going on outside of school, and that's kind of some of the reasons why they're in and out of programs. We have multiple sites per navigator, so sometimes that can be difficult if we have to go from one site to another, or even 3 sites a day. That can kind of take time away from being with the students. Also, the evening programs. So not everyone's available to work evenings. So being able to reach those students and actually meeting with them in person can sometimes be very difficult because they work in the day usually, right? So we kind of, what's the word, where you work later? We shift our schedule around, and then that way we're able to at least meet with them maybe once a semester. And then sometimes there's lack of student interest in some of the career programs or the job readiness opportunities available through the One Stop. So we just try to let students know, like, these are our goals. That's why it's really important to have that career plan, so we know how are we going to achieve these goals. And then I did share some of the resources or some of the challenges our students have, but we're able to overcome all of those with different, I won't get into that, but if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. And I see some individual questions. We will get to them if we have time at the end of the session. Otherwise, we'll follow up with email. Peter.
Yeah, Alex, when a student comes up to me and tells me that, I'm too old to do that, I look at them funny because, they're usually younger than me, right? So I said, no, you have no excuses. Okay, you can do it, right? I agree with both Alex and Carmen in terms of the obstacles, so I won't repeat them. But I think one that bothers me the most is student persistence, not being able to stay in the program long enough for me to service them, right? Because my job is to help students transition from our ESL program into something different. But in terms of students who come to me already completed college degree. I have two kinds of students there, right? One, they're here with work permit, and the other one with a college degree with no work permit. And you want to be able to help both of them. So the ones who are career ready or college ready or want to continue, then you identify what it is the career, the college goal is, you know, what major do they want to pursue or what graduate program they want to pursue. And then you contact the college, find out what they recommend for translation services, because it seems to me that every college has their own favorite translation service out there, right? So again, one size doesn't fit all. So, you know, so you have to go shop around. You have to develop, you know, a knowledge of where, you know, what programs are the best in terms of not only translating, but also equivalency. Because, you know, they want to see if the courses you took in your country are equivalent to the courses here. And if they're not, then those are the courses that you need to take if you want to pursue that degree. So this is a short list of some of our challenges, which are in addition to what has been already stated. Student persistence is one. Developing trust. These are immigrant students. They don't, you know, I mean, they want to, you know, you have to develop that trust so they can be open with you and let you know what it is that they really want, not just something they want me to hear. No follow-up visits from students, right? You know, you work hard and you think you're being successful, but you really get no validation for that. So that's kind of hard on the translation specialists. Digital literacy skills, it's still there, but our program challenges the students to use the computer and their mobile phone as much as possible to practice not only the English skills, but also to become comfortable with the technology that's out there. Because when they get to me, I'm going to tell them, you know, here are some links. Let's go to the links. Let's discuss. So they're going to have to learn how to navigate the internet, right? Students' fear of venturing outside their cocoon. You see the potential, but they're afraid to try something new. And so you spend a lot of time trying to build up their courage and their self-esteem so that they can take the responsibility to move forward and not put it on the translation specialist, right? Unsure how to find online information. So when I give them a link, you know, so what do you do with it, right? So they need to see if there's a translation device, first of all, so they can translate it into their language. And then how to click the appropriate links to get to the information that they want. So that is a study session in itself, right? So there you go.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. We did have one more question, but we are at the end of our time. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And all the questions you have will be answered via email. We'll be following up with the email responses and the link to this recording, as well as the evaluation link. But if you have time, please, we take your feedback seriously, and we would love to hear from you. Please scan the QR code and go to the link to, thank you, Josie, for putting the link in. I'm not sure if it's linked, but please provide your feedback. And our panel members graciously agreed to respond to some questions, follow-up questions. If you have any, please feel free to email them. If you have extra questions or if you come up with other questions or just networking, here are their email addresses. Again, thank you very much for joining us for another CalPro webinar. Our next one will be in April, so we'll be sending you more information if you signed up for CalPro's listserv. All right, thank you very much again. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.